In France, Laura arrives on the boat and asks Dante where Spencer is. Dante fills her in on what happened with Esme, and that the search for Spencer and Esme is ongoing, but so far there is no sign of them. He says he'll check in and see if there are any more updates. In her stateroom, Trina remembers the fight with Esme and her and Spencer going overboard. Portia and Curtis arrive, and Portia embraces her. Curtis explains the French police are looking for Spencer, and Portia asks what happened. Trina fills them in on the fight with Esme, and that Spencer saved her life just like he did in Greenland. Laura arrives as Trina says she knows in her heart he is alive. Laura tells her to trust her heart. Laura asks what happened, and Trina tells her about Esme's plan to kidnap Spencer and force Nicholas out of hiding to trade Spencer for Ace. Dante shows up, and Laura asks if there is an update. Dante apologizes as he doesn't have good news. He says it's been over 24 hours, and with the temperatures in the water and what Esme gave him. The authorities aren't looking at this as a rescue mission, but a recovery mission as Spencer has been presumed dead. Trina cries they are wrong, he's alive, and runs out of the cabin. Portia goes after Trina, and Curtis tells Laura how sorry he is. Curtis goes to speak to the captain of the French police for the details so he can relay the information to Trina when she's ready. Dante asks Laura if there is anything he can do for her. Laura cries there is nothing that can be done to bring her grandson back. On deck, Trina cries to her mother and asks how she is supposed to just let Spencer go. Portia says Spencer was a hero, and Esme can't hurt her anymore thanks to him. Portia suggests they go home as there is nothing more they can do here. Trina says she'll meet her mom back at the stateroom. Alone, Trina doesn't know how she says goodbye to Spencer. Portia returns to the cabin, and Curtis says the authorities are going to keep searching for the next 48 hours, but the odds of finding the body are 50%. Curtis knows either outcome is bad for Trina, as if they find the body she'll want to see it. If they don't, she won't have closure. Portia cries that she wanted Spencer out of Trina's life, but not like this. Laura and Dante find Trina on deck still. Trina knows Laura wants to get home to Kevin, so she won't be long. Laura tells her to take as much time as she needs. Trina thinks about the last few days with Spencer and says this isn't goodbye. Somehow, someway, the camera pans to a pebble-filled shoreline and a single turtle dove washes up. At the Quartermain residence, Lois goes on and on about her plans for Brooklyn and Chase to marry at Street Anthony's in Bensonhurst and have a reception on a cruise under the Brooklyn Bridge and around the Statue of Liberty. Tracy wants to chime in but remembers she told Gregory she wouldn't fight with Lois about the reception and service. Lois feels it's important for Brooklyn to get married in her old neighborhood surrounded by everyone who has loved her for her entire life. Brooklyn tells her grandmother to say something, and Tracy agrees with Lois. Lois is stunned, and Brooklyn asks Lois and Gregory for a moment with her grandmother. Alone, Brooklyn is shocked and tells her grandmother that she was supposed to say no to her mother's plans. Tracy thought she was on board with her mother's vision. Brooklyn loves the old neighborhood but doesn't want to get married there. She and Chase want to be married here, in Port Charles, somewhere special to them. Tracy asks why she doesn't tell her mother. Brooklyn says she is her mom's only child, and a big Bensonhurst wedding is a big deal to her. Brooklyn doesn't want to hurt her mom's feelings, but she wants their wedding to be their wedding. Tracy says it will be. Tracy invites Gregory and Lois back in, and Tracy announces that the wedding will be taking place here in Port Charles. She says it will be catered, there will be flowers, and it will be a formal wedding. Lois asks Brooklyn if this is what she wants. Chase and Brooklyn want the wedding here in Port Charles where they are based. Lois asks where the fun will be. Tracy says the fun will happen the night before the wedding. Tracy says they'll have the rehearsal dinner at a recreated Coney Island, but Lois suggests they fly to the park on the Quartermain's fancy jet, and they could rent out the actual Coney Island. Brooklyn and Chase agree with Lois' idea. Later, Lois admits to Brooklyn and Chase that she got carried away and planned a wedding similar to hers and all her cousins, and this needs to be the wedding of their dreams. In the foyer, Gregory is amazed by Tracy and her hidden talents. Tracy says all she needs is the right encouragement. Drew checks in with Carly at Crimson, and Carly admits she's stressed about putting her first issue out. Drew is sure she will do wonders, and in 6 Michael months, shows up to see Drew but congratulates his mom on the new job. Carly has to head to GH to help Joss, hubs Drew and whispers to him to take it easy on Michael. Carly leaves and Michael tells Drew that he's resigning as CEO. He felt Drew should have told him about the change here at Crimson. Drew responds, "Like you told me about Nina." Michael explains again that he couldn't hurt his dad that way after they just reconciled. Michael relays it didn't do him much good in the end, as now his dad blames him as much as he blames Nina for what happened. Michael says he owed it to Drew to tell him too, but he didn't. Michael says he'll stick around as long as he needs him while finding his replacement. Drew admits he misdirected his anger at Michael when it was Nina who was responsible. He wants Michael here, but with new ground rules. Drew needs to know he can trust Michael, but Michael doesn't know how to rebuild that trust. Drew says going to make Nina pay even more, he is going to leave her broke and alone, and he wants Michael to help him. Michael turns him down as he can't risk losing Willow and his family over another vendetta. Drew still won't let Michael resign, and he respects his honesty in turning him down, which is the transparency they need here at Aurora. He expects to see Michael in the morning at his desk. At the hospital, Felicia meets Joss and says she heard her friend Adam needs a patient advocate. Felicia says she's reviewed the case, and it's Adam's decision on whether he stays here, goes home, or returns to school. Joss feels he needs help standing up to his parents. Willow brings Adam his guitar when suddenly his father shows up. He says he was hoping Adam had outgrown that thing, and it's time to get his priorities straight. He tries to grab the guitar, but Adam refuses to let him take it, and Willow says he is upsetting the patient. Adam's dad says they need to talk about why he ended up here and the lies he's told. Felicia and Joss arrive, and Adam's father says he made it clear this young woman was not to come near his son. Felicia introduces herself and explains she needs to speak with Adam alone. Carly arrives, and Adam's dad says his son does not need an advocate. Adam wants to talk to Felicia, so they all leave the room. Adam asks what happens now. Felicia says he's been given a second chance at living his life. How he lives it is up to him. Felicia sits by Adam and says he tried to end his life, and they need him to know that he's not alone and can ask for help. In the hall, Joss tells Adam's father that when she found him, Adam was clutching that guitar. She believes music gave him a reason to live, and he needs to accept and love Adam for who he is. Felicia interrupts and tells Joss that Adam wants to see her. She heads in as he's finishing dressing. He says he was told she brought the guitar to him here, and thanks her for everything. He knows if it hadn't been for her, he would have died. He apologizes for how he treated her. Adam and Joss leave the room, and Adam's father tells him they are going home. Adam says he's not. Adam is going back to PCU, where he has unfinished business, and they have a great music department. Adam's father asks who will pay for it. He says he'll get a job, maybe a scholarship. He tells his father that he's got his number, and they'll talk later. Adam's father walks off, and Joss gives Adam a hug for finally being himself. On the next General Hospital, Joss is shocked by Trina's news. Laura gets an unexpected visitor and says they owe each other the truth. Carly meets a new customer at Bobby's. Jordan and Anna continue their investigation.